What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Pre-Patch Podcast. Hopefully everybody's having a great day. It is episode 129. Hopefully the Twitch and YouTube are smoothing out a little bit. It looks like we're having issues though. I don't know what's going on, guys. I really do apologize about that. We might have to just drop Twitch again. So if you guys are on Twitch right now, again, everybody go on over to YouTube because apparently my internet, Jesus Christ, man.
I'm gonna drop the link there.
It do be like that sometimes.
Unfortunate.
So hopefully the YouTube only side will be a little bit more stable, at least. We are streaming at 1500 kilobytes a second over there, so hopefully the quality is okay. If it is not, well, we'll have to figure something out with that. But yeah, welcome in episode 129. How's everybody doing? Bill, Scruffy, joining me as usual. How's it going,
doing
guys?
Great.
We're doing awesome.
Doing great. Peed in a cup today. It was awesome.
Oh, nice. Gotta love that.
Yeah. I thought you just went you just didn't feel like getting up.
Nah.
Just
I'm not that lazy.
casually peeing in a cup.
Casually peeing in a cup. Yeah,
Bill doesn't just casually. He recreationally pees in a cup.
Yeah.
Listen,
He makes it a challenge too. He probably fucking shoots it.
When you're hard grinding level 1 in Elden Ring DLC, you can't be standing up in the middle of a boss fight and going to the bathroom.
I love that.
Exactly.
I watched a video. I can't remember who it was from. I think it was Vice. It was doing a thing on the Amazon shit that was happening like a few months back or like a year or so back. I don't know if you guys remember this. Whenever they were complaining that the drivers didn't have time to use the restroom, so they were peeing in a cup.
I remember this.
And the dude literally he went and sold the driver's pee on Amazon, and it was like one of the best selling energy drinks called I think it was called Stream or something like that. I don't know if he actually sold
I haven't
pee.
heard about that.
Yeah, I don't know if he actually sold the pee or not, but yeah, it was the same formula of urine and everything like that. It was weird. It was fucking weird.
There's gotta be something legal about that.
There is extremely illegal. Yeah, it is extremely illegal. No, yeah, 100%. It is extremely illegal.
Did Belle Delphine get sued because of the bathwater stuff?
The bathwater,
biological
I have no
stuff
clue.
in it.
More than likely, it's ridiculous.
So the question, Enigma, did you buy it?
I did. Yeah, full 100%.
You did. I thought so.
I lost my bottle, maybe I took it outside. I used it for my own pee cup, but sorry guys, my bad.
And then you resold it, right? You made money, profit.
I made a little bit of money off of it. Yep.
Make me thirsty.
Ew. Why?
Anyways, this podcast is actually not about pee.
What is the PP podcast?
It is the PP podcast, but it is actually not about pee. We are a gaming podcast. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Hopefully, everybody's having a great day. As I said before, I don't know how to segue, man. Segueing out of those topics, I have a whole new respect for
derailed already.
Derailed. That's what we should have named. Honestly, that's what we should have named.
Podcast.
The podcast was the Derailed Podcast. Honestly, because
it'd be true.
That's all we do. That's legitimately all we do. But yeah, so hopefully you guys have been having a good week. Did you guys get up to anything fun over the weekend? Well, it wasn't really a weekend. We did the podcast on Sunday.
We did the podcast at the end of the weekend, so pretty much covered that.
I keep thinking that we're a week out, but we're only 4 days, 4 or 5 days, yeah. So welcome back, everybody. We're back. We told you we'd be here on Thursday, and we were here. So you give us head pats, give us a little head pat on the noggin,
Head pats. Yeah. Speaking of, are we going to announce things and stuff?
Yes. So in case you guys are not aware, we do not have Sin. He is on a little bit of a hiatus. We are not entirely sure when he will be back. But we do know that he will be back. I spoke with him today, and he says that he's wanting to come back as soon as possible.
Cool.
So we will see Sin back. You won't have just us three doing the podcast for very long. We know that you guys love our faces and everything like that, but we also know that you love Sin's hot takes and his gatekeeping, because that's what he's known for. But we are, in the meantime, because it's just us three, we've had some scheduling difficulties. We will be moving the podcast back. If you guys are original viewers, we will be moving the podcast back to a bi-weekly podcast. So instead of being every week, we will no longer be doing every week. We will be doing every other week on Thursday. We will be keeping the time frame of 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. So you guys are getting the podcast an hour earlier, but you're losing a podcast a month, pretty much, or two podcasts. Two podcasts, so roughly, depending on the month. I guess. So, unfortunately, that will be up until the point that we get sent back, and then things can go back to as they usually were. So
exactly.
Hopefully, we wish him a quick return, and we miss him very much, and we hope you guys do as well. It would take a lot of stress off of me because apparently my PC can't take dual streaming to two streaming entities, two streaming platforms, even though I have more than enough upload and download speed.
Let's just blame YouTube.
We'll just blame YouTube, even though YouTube's the one that's doing fine. Whatever. YouTube, get your shit together, right? Anyways,
what the fuck?
So yes, we will be moving to that moving forward for the foreseeable future, at least. So look forward to that. As I said, we will be posting a update on Twitter, as well as our YouTube page and all of our other socials, everything like that. We will no longer be doing the every week podcast up for foreseeable future. We don't know how long, but up until the point that happens, we will definitely let you guys know when we will be going back to podcast weekly. So
cool.
With that being said, let's kick it right off, shall we? I have got, surprisingly, some video games to talk about this week.
Hell yeah!
Which is
Sin's gone,
crazy.
So you had to take up the mantle, right?
That is true. I did have to take up the mantle.
Really.
I do not have as much time nor money to spend on that, but so these are both free to play titles. But they are new titles. This week I have been playing The First Descendant. I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's we've talked about it in the past a little bit. We covered it when it first came out in beta or alpha. I can't remember.
I believe it was a closed beta.
Wait a minute. This is the one that has the Stellar Blade level of character models, but nobody's complaining about it.
Kinda. It's got the
it's like a glorified Warframe type deal, feels like.
I'm sorry, my apparently my internet is just not wanting to work at all.
But it does have those Stellar Blade assets.
This is it's an Eastern game, so obviously you're gonna have that type of situation. They do very heavily lean into, again, we talked about Zenless Zone Zero last week and the amount of fan service. They do have a decent amount of fan service in this game. If you guys are connoisseurs of that kind of a situation, they do have a lot of female characters, and the one that we're showcasing right now is one of the male characters, along with Bunny, who is like their flagship of the entire game because she's the hot
like the
bunny
Tracer
lady.
Of this game, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
You know what? I could be wrong, but I don't think she was there in the beta. Was she?
She was.
I don't remember Bunny.
Yep.
Was she?
She was. She wasn't. She wasn't featured as heavily, if I remember correctly, but she definitely was a part of that. She's one of like the first.
They lost their mind.
Yeah, she's one of like the first. I always name them like the Tenno. I for some reason I keep going back to like the Warframes because that's what this reminds me of very heavily.
Well, it's very similar.
But I think they're operators. I don't think that I don't know exactly what the title is for the actual First Descendants, but whatever it is, the current one that I was playing was the male, and he does like shields, and he's like more of the defensive character. I know a lot of people have been playing the Frost chick. I can't remember. I think her name is Vanessa or Vesi or something like that. I can't remember her name. She does like Frost. She has like this like Hurricane Frost a move, and she throws like snowballs that do a lot of damage. She freezes things, and when things are frozen, you do a lot more damage. So it's I equate it very heavily to Warframe. It feels to me like it's very heavily inspired off of Warframe. They call them Descendants. Okay, there you go. First Descendants. Descendants.
Is it based off like gameplay, level structure, a little bit of both?
Kind of a little bit of both. Yeah, you definitely have a little bit more customization with your character in terms of like weapons and boosts and everything like that than you have in like Warframe. Right? Warframe is basically your that Warframe you can have a specific and a specific, very specific version of like that Warframe that has like the weapons and the gear and everything like that. These, if you want to be a sniper, you can be a sniper. If you want to use shotguns, you can use shotguns. If you want to use LMGs, SMGs, assault rifles, you can do all that, and you can kind of build your character a little bit more intricately than you think you can in Warframe. The actual like levels though are like open world, at least from the ones that I've seen so far. So like when you go into an actual level, I mean, you can choose to have it private, but you most of the time I think it defaults to public. So you're going to be running around with other descendants. They're going to be doing missions inside the open world, everything like that. So it's a
not
little
like a full open world though, right? It's like
no, it's instanced open
like
world. So like you have your main hub area,
whatever,
and then you go out into the open world and you load between those two to go into each of the individual mapping sections, right?
That's what I thought. Yeah.
When we originally like covered this, I know Scruffy, you weren't a big fan of it. You did the little thing when we first
it had an identity crisis when we first talked about it, right? We didn't know what the fuck it was trying to be, and it didn't know what it wanted to be.
It just felt real like gimmicky. I don't know, like real just weak. Like I didn't feel like there was much weight to the whole entire game.
Yeah.
Your moves are weak.
I don't know.
Moves weak and you're not fam anymore, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't know how to explain it, but it just
when I first played it with you guys, I had that same opinion 100%. I was like, this feels weird. I don't know what they're trying to do, if they're trying to be Warframe.
Also it was I think we also had the same opinion of like there was like a weird motion sickness. Like we got. Did you have that too? Like
I didn't
you
really
just
have
felt
that,
like sick. There was like a weird motion blur that you couldn't really turn off, or it made like the world and everything real grainy and just like moved.
Yeah,
really
I don't remember that necessarily.
Very well optimized, which it was a beta.
I mean,
so I was giving it pass for that.
It's still not very well optimized. No, not really.
No, okay.
I haven't noticed anything with like motion grainy or like motion sickness.
It was weird, man.
They did. I don't remember if they had a field of view back in the first time that we played it, but they've added a field of view slider to it, so you can go up to 120. It still doesn't feel like it's like a huge amount. I feel like you're really zoomed in on your character. And the 120 field of view doesn't really pull you out all that much, but it's at least it's enough that it's not setting off my motion sickness, and I have a really bad time with motion sickness when it comes to that kind of stuff. So it's enough that it's not affecting me. But I think that when we first played it, I do agree with you. There was a bit of a bit of like an identity crisis. I wasn't sure if it was trying to be like Destiny. Was it trying to be Warframe? Was it trying to be some other type of situation? They still kind of have that issue right now. But I think I kind of stepped back and was willing to take a bit more of a chance with it slightly. I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. To me, it's something that like you can jump into and jump out of really quickly, right? Whereas like in comparison to like Destiny or Warframe, those kinds of games, Warframe maybe less, because Warframe you can kind of jump in and jump out of pretty easily. But like
I thought Warframe was harder to do that with when I used to play.
Maybe when you used to play, I remember it being fairly easy to jump in and out of. But yeah, like Destiny, if you're coming to this thinking that it's going to be Destiny, it's a little bit easier to get into. You can kind of jump in, jump out. It does have like raids and like boss battles and everything like that. So it kind of follows that same situation of like Destiny, where you do have those bigger bosses and those bigger battles. I did do one battle. I don't know if it's necessarily on this specific one. This is just like the introductory like mission. I didn't want to give any spoilers, but one of the first bosses, it's still kind of like the introductory boss is like this giant like four-legged like spider boss, or like giant four-legged like mecha boss of some sort. And the one thing that I did like is that like each boss has like soft spots, or like areas that you need to areas that you need to like target in order to do maximum amounts of damage. And if you're not targeting those areas, you're going to waste a lot more ammo than if you were. From my understanding, maybe a little bit less than Destiny. I think that like the complexity of the actual bosses is going to be way less than Destiny. I don't think you're ever going to get anywhere near Destiny when it comes to like the complexity of their raids and everything.
I feel like their raids are really what like gets real complex and crazy. So
yeah,
I wonder if late game raids could be like that.
I would imagine, I would hope so. I haven't personally gotten any of the late game stuff. I've watched Crow Templar do some of the
I think
stuff.
they
He's really
to,
heavy
honestly.
into this game. I think they do as well.
When I played, that was one of my biggest reasons. I was bored, you know. It was just like, it was only a beta. I didn't play too long, but I was just I was still bored in it, you know. I just felt like I wasn't doing anything like that had meaning. It was just like I was running and killing and running and killing, and that was it.
I mean, that's essentially all that I've been doing. Yeah, it does. After a while, I could see it being extremely repetitive.
Yeah, which is my problem with a lot of these style of games, and that could just be a me thing. I just can't get into it as much, but you know, this one more so than others. So I don't know. I'm willing to give it another chance. I haven't yet, but
yeah, I mean, it's free to play. You can put money into it. Obviously, it does have microtransactions. It has a lot of.
I've heard it is pretty grindy as solely
it is
free to
extremely
play.
grindy from what I've seen. Yeah. From everything that I've seen and heard, they really do put you through the grinder when it comes to that kind of stuff. No pun intended, obviously. But as of right now, like the very early portions of the game, I've been having a lot of fun with it. I've been playing with a buddy of mine. We've just been kind of dicking around a little bit. I'm not too far into it. I think I'm like rank 3 on this character, and I think like level 6 or 7. So I'm not too terribly far into it. But I've gotten enough gameplay into it to kind of understand and kind of get a feel of what the actual game is looking to be in the future. And I think it does have at least some form of chops to it. Like I do think that it has something that you could as a gamer that necessarily that like likes these types of games, that likes Destiny, that likes Warframe, that likes the looter shooter genre, you could have fun with it for free and get your money's worth out of it.
And there's enough content that you think it'll stick around for a minute?
I think so. Again, it's one of those situations I've not gotten to endgame. I've watched people play endgame. I know that you can get to the end game extremely quickly, so I don't know if it's necessarily something that you could do for the long haul, or that like would necessarily take you an abnormally long amount of time to do. I think the biggest problem is like the biggest time sink you're going to have is again that grind for other descendants, because you get one descendant for free, and then you have to go. I think they give you Bunny for free, and then you have to level her up. But like in order to get the other descendants, you have to go and do missions to gain certain resources to be able to build the descendants, right? So each and there's probably, from what I've seen, there's probably an RNG chance to those things dropping from like world events, bosses, everything like that. So yeah, so far seems like it's a decent game for free. I don't necessarily think that I would personally put too much money into it. I took a look at I do know that they have a battle pass. I took a look at the battle pass. It didn't seem too impressive to me. And I've taken a couple of looks at some of their cosmetics. I don't see it. I really don't see why you would pay money for their cosmetics. Most of them, for the most part, in my opinion,
kind of
shit look good.
Is I feel like so many games that like first come out, they drop all their like lame cosmetics at launch.
Yeah.
Just because the hype's there, people will just want to buy anything if they want to spend money.
And they have good cosmetics for Bunny. Like they have some decent cosmetics for Bunny.
They do.
Of course they do. Of course they do. Yeah. But yeah, they'll eventually trickle in their like real worked on main cosmetics. That's just what I've seen a lot with games, especially like Call of Duty titles do it all the time.
Yeah, I mean it's a standard for gaming these days, for live service games these days. They're not going to give right off the bat. You're not going to give the good shit. Yeah, they're not going to give you the best right off the bat. They're definitely going to they're going to focus on their poster children, which again is Bunny. She's their poster child, so they're gonna give her the best looking cosmetics and everything like that. But you know, that's pretty standard for most of these Eastern games, honestly. So yeah, First Descendant. If you're into these types of games, if you like Destiny, if you like Warframe, if you like looter shooters, I think you could get enough fun out of it. I think you get enough content out of it for free. Don't necessarily think that I would put any money into it. If anything, I would put like maybe the $10 or $15 or whatever it is to get the battle pass.
Wow.
See how much you like it. Yeah, see how much you like it. You go with that. I haven't done it personally, so I am not a whale, sir. Mr. Fallout 76 whale motherfucker. Like,
hey, give me that shit. I canceled my Fallout first. It ended today.
But yeah, so that's again, First Descendant. Go check it out. It's on Steam. I think I want to say it's cross-platform on consoles as well, but I'm not. Don't quote me on this. So this is the boss I was talking about right here. It's like the big old mecha thing. He's hard. So yeah, First Descendant, go check it out if you like that kind of stuff. Next up, another free to play Eastern MMORPG. We got Throne and Liberty. I don't know if you guys remember, we kind of talked about this a while ago as well. Both of these games didn't really impress us all that much when it came down to it.
This also had an identity crisis because originally this was going to be an idle MMO.
Was it? Remember? I do remember they had like certain situations, like they like certain things you could do in the game.
Like I'm not saying like a full blown, but it was gonna be like you could AFK and track these quests and do.
I remember they had like farming areas that you could go for AFK and all that shit.
Exactly.
And I don't remember. That was
like their primary thing.
I don't know if they still have those, so I'm not entirely sure.
I do. Heard they don't as much.
Okay. I do know that they changed things up a lot with the actual like aesthetics and like controls of the game. The previous version that we saw back, I want to say like 6 months to a year ago, somewhere around there. It was all tab targeting. There wasn't any, so it was all old school MMO aspects, right? They've now since updated it to an action RPG, but you can also do tab targeting if you want to. So it's kind of a hybrid. You can choose between the two. Actually extremely impressed with how smooth their action combat is. And that's coming from somebody that has played BDO. Like BDO's like the pinnacle of action RPGs and more RPGs, right? This is really freaking close. And it's got a Bill, you're gonna like this. It's Dark Souls basically. It's got a parry system. It's got a blocking system. It's got a rolling system.
No, it looks really good. I'm watching it. It's hard to believe that this is like free to play. It actually has like premium quality to it from the looks of it.
It's really crazy. They do have a really unique system in it where like I'm sure that you'll be able to get mounts later on, but like there's a system where you can shapeshift, like your character shapeshifts, and that's your mount. So you have like a travel shapeshift, right? And then you have a flight shapeshift, and you have a gliding shapeshift and a like a water shapeshift, like a water moving shapeshift and everything like that. The thing with that is like they're extremely fucking smooth, man. Like extremely like I would think like normal MMORPGs, like, you know, you have to stop and do a progress bar to get on your mount normally, right? Like that's the general feel of most MMOs is like you have to stop doing what you're doing, click a button, and within a second or so you're on your mount. This you literally you hold shift and you hold W and you transform into your mount, and it's you can do that in combat, out of combat. It seems like they're extremely smooth when it's shifting, right? You can do that like going into combat. You can go from mounted to into combat without having to do anything. Like you can just click a button and you're all of a sudden in combat. Like if you have I was playing the warrior, and it has like a dash, like a dash ability. I was able to click that while in mount form, and it just went right into it, right? So extremely smooth. Very impressed with that. Really kind of worried though about the pay to win aspects of this. This is from Amazon Game Studios. I don't remember who the developer of it is. So I'm a little skeptical on the whole Amazon Game Studios aspect, because obviously we've got New World did not turn out very well. Not necessarily because of the pay to win or anything like that, but you know, it's one of those things that you got to kind of take into consideration when it comes down to like looking at some of these things, because I don't know, I got burned a little bit with Amazon Game Studios. At least I know that you guys, at least Scruffy, I know that you and Sin kind of enjoyed New World.
I actually still do a bit, not right now currently, but their last like big update, I was getting some enjoyment out of it. So,
and then Bill, I don't know if you ever played it or not. With the New World.
New World had an interest to me, but I never dove in because I just heard the issues.
Yeah, so it's being published by Amazon Games, so we'll see how that works out. So far it seems like it's going to be a good publishing partner for them. So what's up?
I found it. Dude, this game was giving me like mad vibes of a MMO that I used to play. Could not think of it for the life of me, but I found it. It was called Neverwinter. Y'all remember that?
Yeah, I do remember Neverwinter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. that's like, I was like, what does this game give me that? And it's exactly like Neverwinter, like that tab targeting, like spell casting shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, I love that game. So, you know, I'm kind of digging like the look of this one.
Yeah. I have not tried the spellcaster. This is not my, my specific gameplay. This is
it
being
looks sick.
Provided
I
for
love it. Like they got like magic missile and shit.
Yeah. This is being provided by Variety TV. So shout out to them. But yeah, this
sick, yeah.
I haven't used, like they do have like a ranged aspect to it, right? You don't have to necessarily be a ranger to use a bow. I do believe that there are, like, if you do want to just use bows, there is an option for that, right? But you also have the ability of swapping between your weapons. So like if you want to be like a warrior and still have the bow, you can still do that. Or if you want to be a mage but still have a bow, you can swap between them and everything like that.
Or like a mage with a sword.
Kinda. I actually, I'm not sure if you can swap the bow out. Like I don't. Full. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think you can. I never looked into it. When I was playing it earlier today, I literally went down the path of the sword and board, because the warrior and the sword and board warrior looked really cool. It's got like the guts two-handed giant sword warrior.
This Harry Potter looking dude.
Nice, yeah, but yeah.
But see, it seems like it's going to be a good one, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it. I have heard really good things about like open world PvP. I like territory control. Like giant what's the word I'm looking for? Like sieges and everything like that, from what I've heard.
It seems kind of stuff's exciting, but it also concerns me, because if the community isn't there, then those mechanics just
very sure
fail to actually exist.
Or they just get steamrolled by one specific community. That's the biggest issue that I had with like games like Arcade. Was that like towards the end, like Arcade was extremely popular, but towards the end it was like territory control and sieges were only done by specific guilds, and that was it. Like if you were a new guild, there was no possibility of getting into that kind of situation, right?
That was also the problem with New World with certain servers as well.
Yeah.
They ran into that issue many times. That's why they've done so many fresh starts.
Hard to execute.
Very true. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it. I'm hoping that I still need to put a little bit more time into this and get a little bit more gameplay into it. But from what I've seen so far, it's piqued my interest enough that I'm like, okay, for free, I'll definitely check this out.
Yeah.
100%. Right.
Hopefully it's good and it stays good. Only problem with that is count your days. If it's a good MMO and it's ran by NCSoft, they'll probably shut it down no matter what. So
very true.
Shout out to WildStar.
So this is in beta right now. It's going until the 27th, I believe, is what you had said earlier, if I'm not mistaken.
23rd.
I'm sorry,
you got
23rd.
Yep.
23rd in the morning. So if you guys want to go and check that out, they are giving instant access. It's on Steam. You can literally just go to Steam and click the apply for it, and you'll get instant access to it. I'm sorry, my internet is failing and the video completely crashed. So sorry.
It's all good.
Those are the two games I've been playing, and these guys haven't been playing anything. They're slackers.
Oh, I've been playing.
How dare you?
I've been playing, but I just don't think we want to talk about Elden Ring anymore.
Elden Ring, another Elden Ring conversation. 35-minute Elden Ring conversation.
Yeah, I'm fighting the fucking dancing lion at level 1.
Oh, there you go.
Oh man,
it's been going as expected.
Well, hopefully you can get it. Let's see. Let's move into the news, shall we?
That news.
What do we have going on in the news this week? Right off the bat, I know that we've had conversations about the Star Wars Outlaws release back when they first showed gameplay of it. What was your? Do you guys remember that gameplay at all?
Yeah, where she was like going through the shipping bay,
like the shipping bay, and like stealthing,
like real Ubisoft stealth, like cliche stealth. You know, Ubisoft has that
Splinter Cell stealth.
Yeah,
you're like hanging from a box, and then the box gets picked up and gets carried across this thing, and then you got people talking underneath, and then you can either jump down on them or you can just keep going.
Yeah, it almost all looks the same no matter what game they do that has stealth. It's just reskinned, but yeah, I remember it.
It's their basic, their basic recipe for anything that they do these days, whether it's Assassin's Creed or any other type of game. Yeah, so they released a 10-minute preview recently, I think
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, or earlier today. And it's sparking a little bit of not really outrage, but concern with the player base. Considering this game is coming out in like 6 weeks, like less than six
Right.
weeks, right? A lot of people are saying that it looks outdated. The graphics don't look very good. The gameplay looks very minimal and outdated. Like it's a game from back in 2012 2013 era,
Right.
which surprises me because that's what I said when the game first released. I'm gonna play the actual gameplay
Yeah,
here. So
I think I remember
the
talking about that.
yeah, when it first released, I was watching it and I was just like, dude, this does not impress me like at all. Like it looks like bare bones Ubisoft Assassin's Creed game with a Star Wars skin on it.
Looks
Right?
like it's got as much, if not less, depth than Lego Star Wars.
Maybe a little bit more than Lego Star Wars, but yeah.
Lego Star Wars is the base level for quality these days.
Don't sleep on Lego Star Wars.
But yeah. I don't know. You guys give me your opinion. I've watched this a little bit. Obviously, we'll have to kind of talk and watch at the same time when it comes down to this. And if you guys are out there watching this, or if you're listening, you can go and check out the video over on IGN. This is coming from IGN. They were the ones that kind of first broke the story and everything like that. But
right.
Yeah, to me, just watching this, like it feels like there was even a downgrade visually from the first gameplay that we saw. I feel like this feels less high fidelity than the first one does, in my opinion.
I'll give it that. I do think the graphics have taken a hit. I don't know if it's just this particular showcase or
yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't look like a modern gen game. Is this game coming out exclusively on next gen consoles, or is this one that's being backported to PS4?
No, I believe it's only on PlayStation 5 and the Xbox, whatever the Xbox is. I do believe it's on X and S, so maybe this is an Xbox S. I do believe it's on a console. Yeah, it is an Xbox because there's the X and the Y.
If it's
so maybe it's on the X and S, and that could explain like the downgrade in
but
fidelity.
I wouldn't be showing off. I wouldn't
either.
S
yeah, that seems like that's a weird.
If you're trying to impress people,
I can't imagine that's what this is. But that might be why it looks a little less high fidelity, I guess.
Personally, graphics, in my opinion, aren't everything with this kind of stuff.
They're not, but the problem that I see and the problem that I've been seeing from a lot of other people is again they're looking at that previous gameplay that we had and they're comparing the two and they're like, what the hell happened? Like,
right.
The previous one looked okay. I mean, I don't feel like it did. I feel like it looked exactly like this gameplay wise and graphic wise, but like a lot of people did feel like the previous did look okay.
Those animations like getting off the bike and stuff.
It's rough.
Honestly, Square Enix has a bad habit about doing stuff like this too. It looks very clunky. There's just a lack of smoothness to the animations that we've come to expect in the modern day gaming that kind of take me out of the moment. And that might just be like gamer privilege creeping up, but
it's possible. Yeah, it is possible.
And again, that's not necessarily the end of the world if the gameplay is fun and stuff, which I still think this game has potential to be fairly fun. I think when it does get into the meat and potatoes, like the stealth segments, like the combat and stuff, that it has a level of fun to it akin to probably like an Uncharted and stuff like that. Not the most in-depth fighting systems or anything like that, but I think it's going to be more so like Uncharted with a Star Wars spin is kind of the vibe I'm getting from it.
So I have heard as well they introduced like a wanted system, like a GTA 5 wanted system in the game now.
Weird.
Which is a weird step for me. That seems like I mean, I understand it because you're an outlaw and everything, and they're wanting to kind of lean into that outlaw life, but it's one of those situations where it's like,
is this open world though?
So
I mean, I guess it's not a huge problem if it's not. It looks fairly large zones.
Yeah, that's what I was about. I don't think it's open world. If I'm not mistaken, it's And
Kind of weird though.
don't shoot me just because I'm making the comparison. I think it's more going to be akin to like Starfield, where it's like you load into an actual like world, right? It's not going to do the loading screens and everything like that. Obviously, not saying that. Please don't come at me with that. I'm just stating.
Actually, the one thing I think I will give this game is I did see their loading screens and like the traversal between worlds, and
it's all seamless. There's no loading screens. I mean, okay. So there is loading screens. I will state this:
they're hidden.
They're hidden behind gameplay. Technically, you are playing the loading screen. You're just going down onto the earth, which is what Starfield should have done to begin with. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, there is loading screens. Don't come at me and tell me there's not, because there is 100% loading screens.
Well, yeah, but
just they cleverly
like
hide them behind gameplay. But so there's certain aspects of this gameplay that I'm like, okay, this looks okay. Like right now, this looks cool. This looks good to me. I mean, you're not seeing much because of the volumetric fog, right? But even like when she's stepping in the water right there, I don't know if you saw that with the Aurora Borealis or whatever you want to call it, the waves whenever her foot hits the water, that just seems really last gen to me.
Yeah, the water looks like it's made of jelly.
Yeah, it's just
like it's not moving until she touches it, which I mean, I guess it wouldn't, but it's.
But there's an indentation. Did you see?
Yeah,
it's got like an indentation in it where her foot is.
Stepping on jello.
It's very strange.
There was a scene earlier. Oh, she's coming up on another one where she crawls through a space and the walls looked like sweet potatoes.
Yeah. And then that explosion right there.
Low res.
Okay, wait. We need to go back to this explosion. Look at this explosion right here. Like that fucking animation for that grenade throw is rough, and then the explosion.
Oh man,
that's like 2007 explosion, man. Like I don't know, man.
It's rough.
I want to be
impressed with
positive about things. Yeah, I don't think. I don't know.
I want to be impressed with
it. It's definitely weird. I'm hoping that this is just like a bad showcase, which I don't know why you would ever showcase anything that would.
Why I feel like we have so many of these that like
Ubisoft doesn't make any fucking sense.
Like there needs to be some like quality assurance that like reviews these things and like, yeah, that's an okay, guys. We've gotten so many showcases that are like that too.
Yeah, I'm hoping the bounty system isn't like a GTA 6 bounty system where it kind of like disappears whenever you jump into a trash can stuff. I hope it's more like overarching with the gameplay. Like maybe people like bounty hunters will come after you while you're doing missions and stuff, and it can like actually change gameplay mechanics in a meaningful way. Or the bounty system could be this game's kind of way of doing a morality type system, where if you're like the more infamous you are, it could be taking you down the bad route.
I'll tell you what I wish, and I know it's never going to happen because we literally.
This looks good though.
This does look okay. Yeah, this does look okay.
Looks like Uncharted shoot 'em up. Good time.
Yeah, the one thing that I was really hoping for, and again, like I said, we'll never get it because I think that Warner Bros still has it copyrighted. But you remember the Nemesis system from the Shadow of War games?
Yeah.
I really wish that we could see especially in this game, if you get a wanted level like the Nemesis system when it comes down to like bounty hunters coming after you. I think that would be fun. Like the Nemesis system was always an enjoyable time for me. I think that like just make a game based off the Nemesis system. I think you'd have a fucking hit, Warner Bros. Like come on, let's get some more games.
They got a copyright on that.
They do, yeah, they do, because
they're not giving that up.
Yeah. So, but I don't know, man. I'm there with you. I want this to be good.
It has a lot of potential to be good.
What I'm looking at right now, I'm not impressed with. And it doesn't really make me want to go out and give them, I'm sure, the $70 that they're going to charge for it.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought people were being too harsh on it. But now watching it, I'm like, yeah, no, it's kind of fair criticism. Like
it is. Like there is some good from this. We're not shitting on it entirely.
Without a doubt, yeah. There's something.
Yeah. It definitely kind of has that PS3, early PS4 feel to it.
Yeah,
I can
which
definitely.
Isn't necessarily bad. That was a good era of gaming.
I can definitely see the backbone of it. I can see the good inside of it, but it is overshadowed, at least at the moment, by a lot of the bad. So
for sure,
right.
I'm hoping that within the next 6 weeks, like maybe this is an old.
I'm hoping it's an old build. Yeah.
or something along those lines, because it does look cool, and the actual idea behind it, where you're a bounty hunter, it's not really something that we've had in the gaming space when it comes to like Star Wars for a long time, right? If ever. I don't remember there being really a other than like maybe the Boba Fett game, but that was a long time ago, dude.
That
Like
was a
that
long
was
time ago.
so
That was
fucking long ago.
yeah.
So I'm hoping that it's good. I'm hoping it's good, and I'm hoping this is just an old version, like an old version that they just didn't update. But it's definitely been getting the rounds when it comes down to it. Fans were praising it. The deep dive pushed a little bit more into like the missions on Tatooine, showcasing the combat, the stealth, the speeder chases. But they're saying that it fell short visually, which is what we're saying, and yeah. Concerns raised over the lackluster graphics and performance issues in the upcoming Star Wars title. That was about the some extent of everybody's complaints on that. So
Just hoping it. Yeah, just hoping it's an old build. You never know. You would think they would have want to put their best
you would
foot forward,
think,
but
especially
again,
6
this
weeks
is
out, like that's
this is
what I think that's what gives
Yeah.
it the most credibility, is to like, this isn't an old version. Is like 6 weeks out, you don't want to be on like a 6-month-old version showcasing
nah.
it.
I'm
Like,
also. I've been burned one too many times giving games that excuse, because that was the same
yeah,
excuse I gave Forspoken, because they claimed it was an old build, and then the game
that's
came out and it was the exact same shit as
that's
Oh
the
yeah,
that's the
old
yeah.
same
build that the demo was at.
that's the
So
same excuse that we gave the blood sucking one, the vampire one from
Oh,
Xbox. Redfall, yeah. Same thing that we
Yeah.
gave Redfall, and look how that screwed us over in the
yeah.
long
So
run. So yeah, Star Wars Outlaws, definitely keep an eye on it. I think it has good things to it, but obviously kind of watch for it a little bit.
yeah.
Now this
Yeah.
is,
Right.
I'm surprised that we're talking about this, because I thought that we kind of put this to bed. Apparently, following fan outrage, Assassin's Creed Shadows is being investigated by the Japanese government for uh, fraud
Yeah.
and theft, I think is what it
Falsification.
was. Or is it
So
falsification?
Falsification.
part of it's falsification of Japanese history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's recently came out that one of the leading researchers and information pieces on the person Yasuke in general, and the person in the book that Assassin's Creed is basing their Yasuke character in the game off of, is making up
It's
a lot
fiction.
of the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, falsifying
Which
the
is wild,
histories of
too.
it. Uh,
It
kind
goes
of
back
basically fan
pretty far.
fictioning this character
Yeah.
in a way
Interesting.
that
Yeah.
and the dude's been he's deleted all of his socials. He's been
I wonder why.
kicked. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's been kicked. And
So,
this is a
right there is
professor.
admittance.
This guy was given Wikipedia editing rights because he was one of the leading researchers on the person in general. So yeah, he's been editing articles, like historical articles and the Wikipedia articles, and then wrote the book based on those things that he made up in those
Dude,
edits.
you know what's crazy? I wonder if any of that would have ever been found out if they were not making a game based on Yasuke. You know?
No, it wouldn't have,
Because, like,
because the whole entire
the
situation with
reason was the
Yasuke
fans
is
like dug
yeah,
deep into this.
the whole
Yeah.
entire situation with Yasuke is the fact that the Japanese government and Japanese people in general are not. I mean, obviously we can't speak for the entirety of Japanese people, right? But I have seen a lot of people that are not happy with the portrayal of Yasuke, and a lot of them are saying that it's, his story is not necessarily
Yeah.
true. I'm not stating that myself. Don't come at me.
Yeah.
I'm just stating what's being reported here, right? I have also seen a lot with the fact that like the Japanese government was coming after Ubisoft for like stealing artwork. I don't know if you guys saw
I can't
that.
remember. Yeah, I can't remember exactly
Well,
what the piece was.
It was stealing, but it was wrong. It was I think the wrong era or something.
Was that it?
Like the artwork was not the right era for what they put, what the
I
game's
didn't hear
based
about
on.
that. But,
That's what I believe I heard about. It was like some portrait that was on one of those like changing screens or whatever.
that would make sense.
Yeah.
I know that they were
This was
okay
it.
with it as long as Ubisoft wasn't making money specifically on those images.
This is it right here. Ubisoft came out recently, or came under fire recently, for directly lifting the likeness of a flag used by volunteer historical reenactment group. I'm going to butcher this name. Seki Gahara Tepotai. I probably butchered that name, which was prominently featured in some of the artwork from Assassin's Creed Shadows that they released.
Right.
I don't know if that's necessarily what I saw at one point, but that's definitely a rough one too, man. Like if you're
yeah,
say what you
this
want.
Is a rough one because it was fine whenever it was in the advertising stuff, but it's also artwork that's been put into the collector's edition art book of the game.
Yeah.
So that's where the issue comes.
They're making money off of it.
Yeah.
They're making money off of the image.
And so there's some people in the chat that are, you know, he was selling it as true, not fiction, and not people believe that he was a legendary samurai. Pretty much breaks down as Loki, two different versions of the book, Smokescreen, His Lies. So yeah, this is bad
and it was
news.
Two different versions of the book because he was selling it in Japan as fiction, as like.
But he was selling it in the U.S. as
but the
historical
US,
accurate,
as historically accurate.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I have my own opinions about this game. I'm not going to share those opinions because those opinions are not seen favorably. But you know, it is what it is.
Do you still think there's a chance that it could actually turn out good?
Oh, I think that the game will be good. Like that's the thing, is like, don't get me wrong. Like the game itself is probably going to be an extremely enjoyable game. I will probably play the game. I'm not gonna lie. Like I will probably play the game just because it's Japanese. I like Japanese history. I like Japanese culture. Obviously, this is not Japanese history. Let's not go there again, guys. But I will probably play the game, and it on top of that, it's the first Assassin's Creed game that has two main protagonists. Right? That's something that they've never done before. So I'm kind of interested in seeing that. I've heard a lot of people saying that it's very closely. They're kind of like giving it the Ghost of Tsushima act, where they're like the you know, the animations and the gameplay is better than Ghost of Tsushima. I don't necessarily know about that, but the gameplay does look good. Like I'm not gonna lie, the gameplay does look extremely good, and I do want to play it. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't. Again, if I say my actual opinion on it, we'll probably get in trouble. So
well, here's a question for you then. Do you think, given the light of Lockley and his lying to the Western audience of things, and how the Japanese government is investigating that kind of stuff, do you think that they're going to have to make big sweeping changes to the narrative that they're doing? Do you think they're going to have to make changes in general, or do you think they can just slap
it's gonna be slapped on as fiction? Yeah, that's what they'll do to get through it. They've already done it in a lot of them. Yeah, they'll just go, well, this is this, you know, any portrayal of this character that looks like this character is all work of fiction. Blah 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 blah, doing the whole legalese and everything like that. They're way too far into the game to change it, to do those wide sweeping changes. He is an integral part of the game from what we've heard.
He's the secondary,
he's the primary protagonist. I'm willing to bet, and the female Shinobi's probably the secondary. So
okay,
it's probably too late.
One last thing that I found funny with this Assassin's Creed stuff, and I don't know why it all hit this week. So we've got the dude lying about Yasuke's origins and stuff like that. We've got the artwork theft, which Ubisoft loves stealing artwork for some reason.
They do. That's nothing new for Ubisoft.
No. And thirdly, the French section of Ubisoft, the French advertising agency, they had an event where they set up an expo style booth and whatnot.
I saw this.
And they actually took the sword. Like, have y'all watched One Piece?
I haven't watched it, no, but
okay, so
I've
there's
seen
a character
some stuff on
it. They took a sword from one of the characters and had it set up as a prop at this booth, saying that it was going to be one of Yasuke's weapons in the game.
I did see that.
You can literally find this sword replica online to purchase. It's wild that they went that way. I don't know who greenlit that, but they've been getting hell for ripping off One Piece. And
that's what I was confused. I'm like, were they like saying that it was like Yasuke's sword? Is that what they were trying to say? Is like that was his historical sword? Okay, that's fucked up.
or a sword that he was going to be primarily using in the game or something like that. Yeah, but it's literally a cut and dry replica of a One Piece character's sword.
You know what's pretty funny about that as well? I think it was that same expo, but they were telling fans that were using their benches in their like hut, their Ubisoft hut, to stop turning around and looking at the Nintendo's hut next door because everybody wanted to watch a Nintendo showcase that they were using their benches to like watch it.
That's funny.
So like, guys, can you please
funny.
not like just look at our stuff?
Just watch our stuff only, please. I mean, that's within their right. If they're in their booth, then that's within their right. It's just kind of
funny how that was an outcome that was happening. Yeah.
With everything going on with Ubisoft between the Star Wars stuff and like this kind of stuff, and what's going on with Rainbow Six Siege right now, actually, it's being touted as the worst season.
I have heard
Rainbow
that.
Six Siege
it's not shedding a good light on them now.
Do you think Ubisoft's on like a decline? Do you think this is like
I don't know, man. I thought Ubisoft was on the decline.
This has happened.
I was supposed to say I've thought Ubisoft was on the decline multiple times over the past several years, and they just somehow continue to cling on to life like a roach.
Yeah.
I mean, X Defiant's doing well at the very least.
For now.
It's just,
right.
Yeah, for now until Ubisoft kills it. It's just weird that all of this Ubisoft-based stuff is kind of blowing up in their faces, and it just seems like a bunch of mismanagement.
It's just that's what I was gonna say. It's just terrible decisions.
It feels like
mismanagement.
mismanagement.
Yeah. And that's nothing new. That's nothing new with Ubisoft. Unfortunately, they've again, that's their MMO these days. They're almost as bad as Electronic Arts these days when it comes to like fumbles and everything like that. Which we're going to talk about Electronic Arts here in a few. But with that being said, one game that is not fucking up, and one game that is actually doing extremely well for itself, and it has been for a long time. No Man's Sky with another fucking update. Have you guys seen this shit?
I have
briefly.
This is
wild,
crazy, dude. Okay,
is it just me, or have they cranked up the production on these updates? Because it feels like
it feels like
every
it.
month
It feels like it for sure. So I'm gonna move over to the video and actually let the video play in the background. So No Man's Sky, this new update that they're bringing out, it's called Worlds Part 1. Okay, and
beautiful.
Essentially, the entire situation behind Worlds is. Let me pull this over here just so that I have the information for it. Your guys' beautiful faces are going to be covered up for me. I can't see you, but you guys can see them still. Hello Worlds, if you guys don't know, they're making another game. They announced another game back, I think it was this year in the Xbox showcase, if I'm not mistaken, or one of the showcases, called Light No Fire. Right? Light No Fire is supposed to be like a open world, a vast world, like world-sized open world MMORPG, where you can go out and explore in this fantasy realm with your friends, do everything that they've said that you could do inside of No Man's Sky.
Not oversold like No Man's Sky.
That's the only problem that I have.
I think they've learned their lesson.
I think so because we also don't know much about it anymore.
Sony pushing them into their back to release the game.
And they're not announcing much about it, so like they're not overhyping it like
it's insanely ambitious. If you guys don't know about it, go and look it up. There's when we first heard about it, Light No Fire. Yeah. When we first heard about it on the showcase, I was like, dude, this is another one of Sean Murray's all promises, no delivery, everything like that. So I'm really hoping that that's not the case, because everything that Light No Fire seems like something that I would be all about, right? Like a massive open world, play with your friends in a fantasy world.
Saying, man.
This update for this game right now for No Man's Sky, apparently they're taking the tech that they are using in Light No Fire, and they're implementing that into No Man's Sky to make worlds more detailed.
It is
so much
pretty.
better.
The oceans
I've never
alone.
been so impressed. The waves.
The oceans
and everything
alone are insane. I don't know if you know about this. It's not just waves. The oceans actually are affected by like weather. So like when it's really
tides and
like when it's really rainy, when there's a big storm going on, you'll see huge waves. You'll see like foam and everything on the ocean,
like Valheim type.
Yeah. So system. That's one of the things right there. They've also said that they're going to be completely overhauling the The spawn rates and like the interaction between like the AI and everything like that. If you don't know already, AI is a little janky in the game still. It's always been really janky. So
wait, now what we're seeing right now is Light No Fire. That little snippet of
the little
gameplay.
snippet before was Light No Fire. That was basically
Yeah.
him stating that this is their new tech that they're bringing over
Yeah,
from Light No
yeah.
Fire.
Okay.
So
Cool.
let me see. There was something else that I wanted to talk about.
Oh, they're just talking about the water effects with the weather.
Yeah. So on the surface,
So
they've added new
good.
volumetric new volumetrics and atmospherics, rolling fogs, rains, blizzards, lava sparks, combined with wind and clouds. It changes how the planet feels to explore and adds so much more life. Sometimes a storm hits and you see the waves rise and clouds gather together. The new wind, the clouds, the ocean, the atmospheric all hit together and it feels like something else. This is one of the. Let me move back. I don't know if they actually show it on the main page, but we'll move back to the news section so I can kind of show you guys what this is the middle of a storm, right? And they're on like a desert planet, so you can see kind of like the fog and the wind and the rain and like all the ocean particles and everything like that. All the fog and everything like that, the volumetric fog. Across these new biomes, we've added new creatures to discover. We are pushing to the level of variety that's possible even further. It's not enough to just add more. We want to do things that people haven't seen before, and of course, these new creatures can all be pets and mounts, which is always cool. I did like it when they added that system into the game. You can pretty much tame and create mounts out of anything that you come across, more or less.
That's awesome.
No Man's Sky is a game about exploring, so planets look and feel is important, which I agree. But what you do on those planets is something we want to add to with every update. Expeditions have become a huge part of how folks play the game, and we've made something very Starship Troopers inspired with this one. It's really indifferent, and it takes you on a tour of some of these cool new planets. Everyone is battling against bugs together, and progression is community driven. There's a new mech with heavy armor and a cool flamethrower arm as well, which is seen right here.
Are they trying to pull a little piece out of Helldivers?
Maybe, man.
Kind of
maybe. Yeah, you never know.
They said,
we're
I don't
gonna
know
fight
if they
the
said,
bugs. There's gonna be mechs and flamethrowers. Community-driven events. They're pulling Helldivers.
Hey, man, it worked for Helldivers.
Troopers. Yeah,
it worked for Helldivers, man.
Yep.
But yeah, six months ago they announced Light No Fire. You can wishlist it now. It's definitely ambitious. Definitely go and check it out. I mean, if what we've seen off of this alone is even like a quarter of what we're going to get from Light No Fire, it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. So I'm looking forward to it.
And this is awesome. This is awesome for No Man's Sky too.
It's huge.
This is like a massive overhaul to textures, to environments, to all of that stuff. The game's
worlds
gonna
everything.
look it's gonna look amazing. I'm excited.
Is
this out now, by the way?
This is out now. Yep, this released I believe yesterday, the 17th. Yeah, so yesterday.
Love how they don't say anything and they're like,
that's
massive patch,
bro. That's No Man's Sky. Every fucking time, every goddamn time, they're just like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we added in like Starship customization? We did.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is like the rate at which they are updating this game and releasing and dropping these updates. It's like it's consecutive and it's like only a months apart every time. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm dreading the day that they are done with development of No Man's Sky, but then again, I'm looking at it like I'm hoping that like once they're done with No Man's Sky, they have to end at one point at some point, man. Like eventually they have to stop giving out free.
It's like crazy, dude.
Like they're not making I can't see these free updates making them any money. I mean, granted they might, like maybe they're getting big influxes of people that are buying the game that don't have it, but like at this point they're what, 6 years,
eventually
7 years,
will run dry.
8 years, right. I think somewhere around there through their development cycle.
So much.
I don't personally know of anybody that doesn't have No Man's Sky. Correct me if I'm wrong here.
Right.
All of us have it, right?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. They go on sale so much, like people just pick it up and sit on it, even if they don't play it right away. For sure, I do.
So, No Man's Sky, go and check it out. I'm gonna go and check out this new update as well. I
need to play.
I downloaded it, the previous one. I did the last expedition, and I need to get back into it and get everything ground out and everything like that for the robot race that they added in a couple of updates ago, which are dope. They added in that new staff that's like a multi-tool, and you look badass with that thing. So, yeah, go and check it out. No Man's Sky Worlds Part 1, which means there's a Part 2 at least.
Yeah.
We're gonna see a second part at some point in the near future.
Yeah. That whatever that is.
Whatever that is, whatever that is. So I think this is yours, right? Apple has approved the App Store's first PC emulator.
Yeah, Apple's being wild for some reason with these emulators. So
Yeah.
a few months ago, we talked about how they opened up to allow emulation on their devices, and we have gotten a few gaming based emulators that have come out approved by the App Store and stuff like that.
I've got a few. There's Delta, and then there's one called like I think Omega or something. They're both like PS1 and PS2 emulators.
Yeah, so
Gamma.
it's all the emulators have to have legal licensing to the products that they're pushing. That's like the big caveat.
Yeah.
But it makes it so that you using the emulator don't have to pay for that. And if you happen to have some illegal modification to your thing, I'm sure you could like get games in there. But for stock, yes, these all work fine. Now we have PC emulation. It's allowing this one
That's
in
crazy.
particular allows Linux, DOS, Windows,
that's
and
dope.
Macintosh operating systems.
That's really cool.
On Apple devices.
On an Apple device,
So
I would have never seen that coming. Like that's interesting.
Yeah.
Linux maybe, Linux maybe, but Windows and DOS, that's crazy.
Yeah. And as I know what you guys are going to say, well, it's Apple, of course, Mac's going to be on there. This effectively acts as a virtual machine on your thing. So a separate bubble, separate from your
main machine,
your main hard drive. So if there's ever anything that you want to be incognito about, or you don't want the potential risk of something infecting your main drives, this is a way to go about doing that.
You don't necessarily have to worry about that with Mac to begin with, because they're already pretty decent when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Windows definitely
for sure.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
This is huge for gaming in general, in my opinion, because Mac is terrible for playing games.
Oh yeah.
So giving the ability to pop up a Windows emulator,
a Doom emulator, playing Doom on your fucking
Doom's the first thing
phone.
You do
that's
with
awesome.
Like any emulator.
Hey man, why not? That's crazy.
Yeah, having Windows on there because anti-cheat works with Windows that doesn't necessarily work with Mac.
Yeah.
It'll give a lot more gaming support. You can just open up the emulator, have Steam installed, play the games that you want to play.
This in conjunction with the tech that the iPhone 15s and further are pushing is actually really crazy. Like, I mean, we've talked about how the new iPhone 15s are going to be able to run like AAA games such as like I think Resident Evil was being ported. That's what I'm saying.
We're going to be talking about that later.
Oh, really? There's more too. Yeah. So it's really that. I'm just saying those together. That's awesome.
Yeah, Apple's doing some good. It's weird saying that because Apple's kind of a sketch company in a a lot of ways, but
for sure.
Actually,
I still have my skeptics with them, but this right here is good. Yes.
Yeah, it's at least a step forward in the right direction, because Mac's always been the kind of they've kind of been the Sony or the Nintendo, right, of the OSs, where they just want to stick to their own, their own kind.
Right.
We don't want your kind, your Windows kind around here. Get out of here. We're Apple people.
Your Android kind
people.
So let's actually talk about that. Just coming off of the fact that Resident Evil 7 and everything like that has been on the Apple, like the mobile store and everything like that. Apparently, it's been on the store, but it hasn't been doing very well. Resident Evil 7 has reportedly flopped on iOS with under 200 or 2,000 sales.
It's very niche. I'm not surprised.
It doesn't surprise me, but that's
not at all. Yeah,
under 2,000 really sales low. Pretty low.
Well, that is extremely low.
Is it full price though?
Yeah,
it's old and it's Is it full price?
No, this is a $15.99 paid version. At least euro.
I mean, not surprising still. But. Yeah, at least it's not full price. Jesus.
Crazy though. Like I would have thought there would, because like say what you want about like mobile gaming. There's a lot more mobile gamers than there has ever been, like in history of gaming recently. Right. Like that's been like the market recently when it comes to gaming, at least with like the newer generations for the most part.
But again, with mobile gamers, it's a very niche category of games that they stick to.
Yeah.
You know, whether it
Well,
be
and
gotchas, whether it be you know, like the PUBGs and all of those like competitive games. They've never really had story games be a
well,
big hit
yeah,
on mobile.
and
And that could change, but at the moment, I feel like that still stands, right?
yeah,
You know,
and
Yeah.
like you said, it's a triple A game. It's a bigger game, so it's a
It's
big
also
time
20
investment.
bucks.
Yeah, it's 20
you know,
bucks. Okay,
I think that's the
20
biggest
bucks
thing
and,
too.
and it doesn't
Yeah.
come with the DLC. If you want the DLC, that's another 20 bucks.
Wow.
Wow. But yeah, that's
So
the biggest thing is
that-
like
$40 for the full thing that you might as well just buy it on console or on PC.
and something that's not really talked about much. It's 33 gigs, which if you're
That's
playing
what
it
I
on
was
a
saying.
phone or
Wow.
whatnot, that
Yeah.
is a lot of
That's
memory to
that's
take
what I
up.
was that's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah.
Is like it's a larger game, so you're literally only going to be able to play that game pretty much on most phones.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
On top of that, it's a long game. Like it's not a short game in any
That's
in
what I
any
was gonna
means
say.
of
Yeah.
you know. So you're sitting
I'm
there
not-
on this.
I'm not
for
gonna sit there
what 40
constantly
hours,
for hours.
You know,
on
yeah.
on a iPhone. No, yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
That would be rough for a lot of even for mobile gamers. I know they've
This is
got that
also a
weird
7-year-old game.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
I know the mobile gamers
that's
have that
crazy. It's already been 7
weird
years.
like where they prop it up on those pillows or whatever
Prop
it
it
is.
up,
Do you
yeah.
remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
But
I
that
know
would
what
still
you're
be
talking about.
rough when it comes down to like playing for
I mean,
that
the
long.
backbone's pretty fucking cool, but yeah.
It is
Right.
So-
Now, besides this, like I have actually like considered when I get a new phone, when I get a new iPhone, and it's gonna be like the 15. I'm going to get myself like a decent little setup. I'm gonna get like a controller and everything. And then I've seen people like all they do is just like AirPlay it to like a TV or like mobile device it to a TV, and
Yeah.
it's on
Yeah.
big screen and it runs seamless. From everything I've seen, but I've seen it done with like emulators. That was my plan at least. Is now with all the emulators. But I still don't imagine like I'm gonna be sitting down playing Resident Evil. Like I have other means to play, games like that.
Yeah.
I don't have to play it on a phone, right? So
very true.
that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, I
very
think
true.
I think it's a perfect storm of bad things. Old game, big
Yeah.
file size,
Big file size.
price is bad.
Big price point for sure.
It was
and
a
I just
very
don't
interesting
thi-
game to port.
Yeah,
to be
I mean,
honest.
Capcom, I'm sure made a good deal with them, but I just
Yeah.
don't think people are really in tune with playing. I would honestly say most gamers that have an iPhone don't even know that you can get these games on the product.
Yeah.
So
I really
Probably.
think
I
it
wouldn't
was
doubt
done
it.
more as like a test run for this, and now that it's had a bad reception, I doubt we'll see many more games similar coming
Well,
out. I
not
think
not
we'll
just
still see more of the competitive type.
Well, I
mobile
wouldn't say we
games.
won't see more games. I think it'll just be more along the lines of instead of having it be a game that you have to actually physically install on your on your phone, they're
cloud gaming.
everybody's going to cloud gaming. Yeah, everything is
Yeah,
going to cloud
yeah.
gaming. So it's one of those situations where like I don't even know why they came out with it to begin with as an actual game that you had to install on the phone. But
That's true.
is
That
what
would
it is.
totally, just negate the 33 gigs right there too if
For
they just
sure.
went cloud.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
we'll move on from that. Apple's doing some good things. I'm glad to hear about the emulators. We'll see how that works out though. I'm kind of excited about the emulators because I do have an iPhone and having that ability does sound kind of cool. So
Yeah.
sure.
after years of working on Hitman Project 007, lead says working on the game James Bond game feels organic and it's so close to our DNA that it's just feels seamless. I didn't even know that Hitman
Yeah.
project
that
leader
was the
were
reason
making
I-
007.
That's why I added this to the thing because as
crazy.
I was doing research for stuff for the podcast, I saw this and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
There's
I had
Yeah.
there's
no
a
clue
new
about
James
this.
Bond game coming out and it's made by the
Mm.
Hitman people.
I had no idea about this. Yeah,
that could be a recipe for a banger right there, dude.
IO Interactive's developers are working on it. They're saying that the lead has said switching to James Bond games after the better part of a decade is making Hitman just feel organic. So I do believe they're still in development of another Hitman game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they are. The most recent Hitman games have done really well. And honestly, I understand where they're coming from with 007 probably feeling pretty good. I just hope it's not Hitman with a James Bond
With a
skin,
James Bond
because I
skin.
could very
Right,
easily
'cause
see
it
them
could.
going that
Yeah.
route. Yeah, it very well could. I hope they have some more substance to it. I hope they really dig into what makes James Bond, and not just have it be a
reskin.
reskin of like the Hitman style mechanics
For
where
sure.
like go in, do this thing, and Yeah.
Well, they couldn't have gotten a better development company to do it, because like double 007 is essentially was the what's the fucking hitman's name?
Oh, Agent 47.
Agent 47. Yeah, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, it wasn't 11, it wasn't 21.
Oh.
What was it?
Hey, you know what? At least they didn't get Ubisoft to do it.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, I think getting the guys that do Hitman was the best option for that, because like it's exactly like they say, like they're already basically doing 007 just with a different with a different face,
which explains why it's so seamless.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. And we haven't really seen a James Bond game like this before. There was a James Bond game that I remember playing back in like the PS2 era. That was a third person style, like story-based James Bond game. But most games that have 007 in them are FPS, like your GoldenEyes. Yeah. So I'm excited to see like an actual like espionage, like almost like a Metal Gear style.
Do you think this will be like its own custom like story, or do you think that they'll do like let the Sky or Skyfall or whatever, one of the newer movies as the backstory? Do you think?
I want it to be its own. I think.
Yeah,
I'd prefer
it
be
like
its own.
Too.
Yeah. I would prefer it be its own with the original 007, right? Like not the new one. I think that like if they're gonna go back to 007, they need to go back to the original 007 from GoldenEye. Like that's the 007 that I know.
Gotcha. I mean, considering its name is Project 007, I'm not sure if it's a working title or if that's actually going to be the name.
I can't tell. It sounds like a name for a game, but it also like when you see Project, it's like.
Yeah,
it feels like a mod.
That makes me think it's going to be like an anthology type thing where you're going to be able to choose between like James Bonds throughout the character's history. Probably put you in the settings.
Yeah,
it would be interesting.
Like
I know
swap
the
between
Hitman
protagonists.
I know the Hitman games do that mission select type thing. I think it could be something similar to that, but if they do it that way, I don't know how they're going to get a cohesive story.
That's
going
the
with
big that's the biggest issue. Is like if it's going to be fragmented in such a way that you'll jump between 007s. I don't know how well they're going to be able to bring forth like a cohesive story.
Kind of like how Assassin's Creed did their stories. Just jump around everywhere. So and it got messy. It did get messy.
Yeah, I could see them doing an independent story and you still being able to choose which James Bond you're playing as,
like
and
skins.
Kind of inject them into the like skins and inject them into the
that
story.
would actually be kind of cool, like unlockable skins, like being able to unlock like get a GoldenEye achievement and be able to unlock the original GoldenEye 007. That would be cool.
I would be down
with that.
Sean Connery.
I would fucking be down with that. I would be down to Pound Town with that. That'd be
Austin
awesome.
Powers.
No.
He was
Stop.
He was
get some help. Right? Please.
I'm groovy, baby. Yeah.
Gold member or whatever it was called.
Yeah, gold member.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
Oh, man. Goodness gracious. Well, moving on to a game that's, I guess, I don't really have a segue for this. A game that knows what they want to do, I guess. I sure we'll go with that. Astrobot has come out and basically said that they instead of going open world, they opted for 80 planets because they felt like it was the most control over the game's variety.
Yeah,
could have been interesting.
More planets, more load screens.
Well, I would rather it be like out in front of you.
That wasn't me, Bill. That wasn't me.
I would rather it be obvious than being like, oh yeah, this is open world.
Yeah,
but it's I think this is interesting. I
think open world would have been weird though for a game of this style. I don't know. Might be me.
It would have been.
I think that is a smart choice. They strayed away from that.
I feel like they could have done it though. Like I feel like there's an aspect to it, like where instead of I'm trying to. There was a game that was like this where like you went to certain areas and they were themed underneath like certain game aspects or like themed underneath certain other aspects to it. They could have done that where it was like open world, but like you like when you started you were starting out in like the Valhalla, like the Lord of the not Lord of the Rings, God of War Valhalla, right? Or like you were starting out in Ilawi's area with the robots and the dinosaurs and shit. I think that they could have done that, and that kind of
I don't know.
that could have been a cool, and they still might. That could still be what they're doing with the planets. Honestly,
I think that's what they're going to do with the planets.
Yeah.
Each planet's going to have its own theme. It's going to have it's basically going to be like levels, and I could see them going in a few different ways with this. It almost reminds me of like old school PlayStation, like you just Spyro the Dragons, where it has like
gonna say
a hub
Ratchet
level
and Clank,
or
kinda.
Ratchet and Clanks, where you can bounce the planet to planet. Or like Spyro, where you have your hub
For
world,
sure.
and then you go to
the
different sections
portals,
of that,
yeah.
and you go to the portals. Yeah,
It could, very well. I think that honestly fits it better.
Especially
that
if they're
way.
trying to make this the like Mario of the
Well,
Sony
that's
environment.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like right here, they're saying that Astra's bot serves as kind of like a new beginnings for the platform. They're trying to make that as their mascot, right?
Yeah.
So to be able to kind of portray what their what Sony's entirety is about in one game is going to be an interesting thing to do. I'm kind of interested to see like what the story is going to be, because like we're taking inspiration from essentially a tech demo, right? Like it was a very good tech demo. I'm not saying it wasn't. I was very impressed with it.
The demo was really impressive. It going through like each of the different parts of the PS5 and basically turning those into levels. Really cool. This is going to be interesting. I'm excited about this.
I'm curious to see where they take it. Yeah.
I'm excited that they're not doing the open world. As we're seeing in the chat, I also believe that the open world craze is overdone. It seemed like every game there for a while had to be an open world.
Yeah.
And that just leads to bloat. I think with this, them opting for 80 planets, stating outright 80 planets, that tells me as a gamer, I'm going to have 80 levels of content in this game, instead of this is an open world game where you don't know how much of that's actually fleshed out content and how much of that's just like a glorified loading screen as you're running from one side of the map to the other.
Yeah, honestly, because we've seen it a lot recently with open world games just being so null and void of just anything. You're just running. It's a running simulator almost.
Hell, we just saw it with Star Wars Outlaws. If that game's going to be open world, I don't want to spend 10 minutes driving through an empty desert to get to a mission.
God, no. Yeah. So
no, it's
you know who this game's direct competitor is with these little dudes? Is that Funko game?
Oh,
we're getting two games that are like these little.
I was going to say Sackboy.
Kind of. Especially, well, I think this is the evolution of Sackboy.
It is, 100%.
It is. Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely.
But with them having like these bots looking like the Sony characters, it is kind of a Funko.
It'll never be my Sackboy though.
Do you think that they're going to start
merchandise
out? I was about to say, do you think they're going to start selling these like Funko Pops?
There's going to be merchandise out of these.
100%.
You've seen those little robots that you talk to that they look like those, and they're going to be selling those.
There's no way they don't start selling these like Funko Pops.
I'm going to get one. I'm going to have a little duder. I'm going to get a little Robo Snake that's going to sit on my desk.
Well, hopefully they don't quietly raise the price of them like they've been doing with games in where was it?
Netherlands? No, Turkey.
No, Turkey. Yeah. Apparently the PlayStation community is hitting back at Sony after they've quietly started increasing game prices in Turkey and in other places like it. Apparently this shocked me a little bit. So PlayStation recently rose prices for games in Turkey where the median salary is $40. I think that they said that, where was it? The $85. So they rose the prices of games to $85 in a country where the mean salary is $400. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, what was their justification for it?
I don't know. Like I don't think that they've put out a justification for it.
Right, that's if they had.
I think I did see something where they were saying that like there was some kind of a people were taking advantage of Turkey's lower median like salary or their lower median.
So
for
what
their,
they were spoofing to be in Turkey,
they were spoofing to be in Turkey to get cheaper games.
Now they just screwed.
And so now they just screwed people that live in Turkey. They're going to be paying more.
All they got to do is spoof to a different country and get the games at a discounted price there. Turkey, it's your turn to do the spoof, and we've all spoofed for too long. We're giving you the keys to it now.
Yeah, seriously.
I think there's no issue with it. They have the means to. No, this is shit. this is
Yeah.
entirely
right here.
That
entirely
is the reason that is complete shit. Yeah.
Yeah, right here. You would think that the company that makes billions of profit would want to satisfy their base and less lucky people that live in countries where the exchange rate is bad, but no, they doubled down because they're scared people are going to abuse this. Good on you for speaking about it, as was a reply to this specific post made by Amir.
okay.
So yeah, I don't know, man. I see where they're coming with it, and that's I don't agree with it necessarily, because it's like, yeah, people are gonna assholes gonna be assholes one way or another. Like if you're always they're gonna find some other way around it, right? They're just gonna go and find it, like you said, another country that they can spoof to.
Yeah. Eat the loss and call it a day.
Yeah, like, it's one of those situations where it's like, if I don't know, because like the only problem is like their only other option is just to not sell those countries, and I don't want that, right? Like that we don't want that.
And I'm sure they don't get their main profit from Turkey. Like
that's what I was gonna say. I'm curious how much of their player base is Turkish, and how like where that profit, how many people are spoofing from that. Like what's the sale rate?
What's the
from
rate
Turkey-based sales? Like where did they get this data to realize that this is a problem, and how big of a problem actually is it?
Is it better?
If they would have.
Is it better than Thanksgiving? That was a terrible joke. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Turkey.
Really oh my gosh, that was terrible. You really stuffed that one in there too. Oh jeez.
Oh fuck!
That one snuck up on me.
Yeah. So I know I agree with you. I would like to see the like the percentage of people that are actually spoofing from it, and how much that's going to hit their bottom line, because I guarantee you it's not hitting their bottom line at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
I would like to see the data on it to see where they came up that this needed to be fixed, quote unquote.
For sure. Yeah. I think it's one of those things where they do need to prompt, like this is prompted calls for fair pricing adjustments in regions, and I think that's been a situation that we've had for a long time, especially with some like Steam's regional locks and everything like that. Steam gets away with it. I don't know why Sony can't. Like Steam has ways around it. Like they still have spoofers, but I think that they just like we've been saying, they literally just eat it. They're just like, well, people can be assholes one way or another. There's nothing we can really do about it. So,
I mean, they're still making, I'm sure, a profit margin. Like, it's crazy. So,
yeah. With that being said, Olympics. Apparently, esports is coming to the Olympics. Is it this year or is it next year?
Been that thing. Maybe.
They just signed the deal. I'm not sure if it's going to make it to this year, but I do know they are in the works. I don't even know specifically which esports they are going to be playing in the Olympics. But they did just make a deal.
Should be Rocket League
with Saudi Arabia.
Should be RLCS.
Rocket League would be actually
2025.
Kind of guess.
So it's going to be next year's Olympics.
According to joint proclamations on Friday, the maiden event is slated for 2025. Saudi Arabia is fervently invested in esports in esports is evident. Oh my god, I can't speak correctly. Their fervent investment in esports is evident, with the recent hosting of the Esports World Cup in Riyadh standing as testaments. They stated, "We are immensely privileged to collaborate with the Saudi NOC on the Olympics esports games, given their unparalleled prowess and extensive involvement in the esports domain alongside its various stakeholders. This venture will indubitably benefit."
That's one of my favorite words.
I had to look at that for a second. Indubitably benefit from each profound expertise, remarked ILC President Thomas Batch.
Can I just say how much Thomas Batch loves using big words?
Indubitably.
He just went out there on that rhetoric. But it's interesting. Do you guys think that there should be this kind of thing in the Olympics? Like, the Olympics for the longest time has always been like physical specimens coming together and doing the best of the best in their respective fields.
Let's push it back for a minute. Like esports is not easy. Like, yeah, you're playing games, but it is mentally taxing. It is physically taxing when it comes down to those types of things. So they are athletes. I'm not taking that
are.
away from them, right?
Yeah.
They are.
Do I think
reaction time, focus.
Do I think that they should be on par with like Olympic athletes? I'm torn on that a little bit. I don't know why.
I'm kind of like, I feel like there's a very high degree to both training.
There is,
in both
for
aspects.
Sure. And I'm not taking that away from them. I just, I don't know, man. It maybe it's just because I'm old and I'm like, you can't make a living off of playing video games. You know, I'm the old man or whatnot. But yeah, right, I don't know. In
reality, like that is such a actual like living now.
Yeah,
like,
today in today's day and age, 100% it is.
Yeah.
But back in my day and age, that was what it was. Like when I was growing up, if I would have told my parents, "Hey, I'm going to be an Olympic esports player," they would have slapped me upside the head and told me to go and get a fucking real job.
I think it's a very cool change. I think
I do too. I think it's good representation. It's going to
bring a lot more eyes to the Olympics as well. To be fair, I mean the Olympics are huge. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like you don't hear as much about it as the years have gone on. Like it's still a worldwide national thing, but like this just adds a whole nother component to that. I feel like so many more eyes are going to be on it. So
like what's being said in chat is like esports isn't the same kind of thing as like an Olympic sports. If anything, they should have their own Olympics. They technically do. But, I mean, they do have their own like sports events and everything like that. I don't necessarily agree with you that they're not the same kind of thing. Cause like, again, like, yeah, they're playing video games, but it's still as mentally and physically grueling as somebody that's training for an Olympic event, right? You're still it's just not as physical when it comes down to like doing gymnastics, right?
Just wait until we get VR fucking esports. There you go.
Yeah.
So they're talking about which games it could potentially be.
They got a list.
Forza, I would imagine.
So Rocket League, League of Legends.
Oh man, that's gonna be so toxic.
Street Fighter and whatever EA FC is. What's FC?
Is that
FC?
Is that Forza?
That sounds so familiar.
Is that Forza? I think it's
probably.
It
might be Forza because I'm seeing images of people with like wheels and stuff.
But yeah, I mean, I could see a lot of that. Like we had a movie come out recently about the Forza.
Sports FC is a football game.
Is it? Okay, that's a little weird. I don't know.
But I also am seeing people with like
Forza. I could see like Forza. I could see 100%. I don't know about like a football game. Like if they're going in and playing Madden, that's a little weird to me.
Yeah, there also is big pushback on adding like FPSs or anything to it, just considering
because of the violence and
the violence and with the fact that a lot of FPSs do have nation-based factions like to them, like Call of Duty. You'd never be able to have Call of Duty
CSGO,
in there because
no chance.
Wouldn't be able to have Counter-Strike in Saudi Arabia.
And that's the biggest esports there is. So, but Rocket League guys, oh my god, that
Rocket
would
League, Forza, definitely. I could see Forza racing. Yeah, so some like the sports games I could definitely see. I don't understand Madden. Like I couldn't see Madden. There's no like what are you doing physically in Madden?
We're getting a comment. See who gets the best Olympic Dark Souls speed run.
I mean, there you go. Bill, I'm sorry. Bill's gonna be our Olympic boy on the Dark Souls team.
Yep.
I wish, man. I wish I was that good.
Oh man.
But no, I saw this and I wanted y'all's opinion on it because
it's a fun.
I feel weird about it. I'm kind of with Enigma on this, where
I'm kind of iffy. I'm kind of back and forth.
Esports, I'm all for esports thriving and succeeding and stuff like that, but at the Olympics feels like a weird place to do that.
Yeah. But then again, it's one of those situations of like as time progresses, we need to kind of look at what the new norm is, honestly. So like I can see it that way as well, where it's like,
whoa, he's accepting it.
Don't make me slap you, little boy. Anyways, speaking of EA and EA Sports, they've not been doing that well with Apex Legends. Have you guys heard about this?
No.
So apparently,
Apex has been really hit or miss.
Yeah,
recently.
Apex has had 2 battle passes. Apparently, they released a battle pass, but there's technically 2 battle passes, both of which you can't get in game.
Perception.
Both of which you can't purchase with in-game things, right? So there's no way of obtaining it within game. It's hard
to spend money.
You have to you have to pay for it. But apparently,
which is a bad move.
Yeah, apparently the community of Apex Legends, at least on Steam, has tried to pull the what's it called? Helldivers treatment. Yeah, they're trying to do the Helldiver treatment where they're trying to get the negative reviews down, which they have successfully done. Currently it's at least as of this specific PC Gamer article, which I don't know when this was posted because they don't tell me when it's posted. They are currently sitting at mostly negative or overwhelmingly negative. I'm sorry. For the last, I think it's last like 30 days, but it's still sitting at mostly positive for like the long term one, right? So they're doing what they need to do. I just don't. I don't know. This is the question that I have for you guys. Is like, do you guys feel this is going to do anything to EA? Right, like I was of the mind that like when the Helldiver situation happened and they did that to Sony would give zero fucks, right? I did not think that Sony would care and move back on that when that happened.
So what I want to know is like, has the battle pass always been a hard lock to money, or has it been currency in the past?
Yeah, I have no
because
clue.
Like that changes everything. Like, why the sudden outrage if that's the case, if it's always been like that?
Yeah, so it says right here, the most common complaint echoed throughout the wave of negative reviews are related to the battle pass changes. One reviewer asks, Titanfall 2 had to die for this battle pass money grab BS. Another says that they've played from the first season and never had a break, but after 2,650 hours of playtime, this might be the end of my journey. Recent success from the review bump. No, we don't need to go into that. So I don't really have the information on that, and I've never played Apex Legends really. That's not kind of my steez.
I've never played enough, so I don't
know. But I would imagine if there's this much of an outcry, I would imagine there was probably a way of obtaining it, or they weren't pushing it as much as they are now. And I do know that again, it was a double battle pass. Like there's 2 battle passes, so. Right. That might be also on top of that. It says now there are 2 battle passes and you can't pay for either of them with in-game currencies. So
like I get it if it was like a sudden change. So hey, you can't use your currency anymore to buy our battle passes, and now there's 2 of them you have to grind and all that bullshit. So
yeah,
yeah. I mean that's pretty shitty. It is sitting at overwhelmingly negative.
Here. They did change it to real money. It used to be that you could spend in-game credits to access the battle pass. It was 950 credits for premium and 2,800 for the ultimate, in-game. Like the top tier one.
Okay.
And now they've changed it straight up to just $10 or $20 for premium or premium.
Okay. So yeah, that's a pretty bad move.
It's the same value, but there's just no
way of doing it within game time. Yeah.
Right. And a lot of battle passes, for the most part, give you currency back while completing them. It's not so much anymore that you get the full amount back, but you get a decent chunk. So it's like build a credit, you know.
And and it used to be 1 battle pass per season. Now it's a battle pass per split, and there's 2 splits per season.
Interesting.
Each battle pass has 60 levels. Each battle pass is $10.
Wow. Yeah, they're just nickel and dime in that, man. That's sad.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you guys feel about this new wave of like, you know, pitchforks and raids with pretty much review bombs on Steam?
I mean, I'm fine with it, man. Like that's
I'm kind of for it. Like
this to me is what I've been stating for the longest time is like, if you don't like something that a game is doing, or you don't like something that a company is doing, the only way that we as consumers can do anything about it is either A, don't buy the content, or B, leave reviews. Those are our only 2 weapons in our pockets for that, right? Like there's
and I feel like we're finally utilizing that. Like gamers are finally getting like, these companies are not going to change. You know,
we've always used it, but we used it for stupid shit. Nobody took it seriously.
Well, that's what no one came together like they are now, which I'm really, really impressed by.
So that again, that's my question. Do you guys feel like this is going to be another situation like Helldivers? Mm-hmm. Do you think the EA will take this seriously? Because I personally don't.
I think
EA, I don't think they will. I think Apex has come and run its. Do you think Apex is still a big enough moneymaker to have them do this, or do you think the reason that they're doing this is because Apex isn't generating enough revenue, and they're just wanting to send their?
I think they're going to revert
their whale player base.
Honestly, because like it just seemed like such a meaningless like change. Like people were buying your battle passes, people were spending the currency to get them. Now all of a sudden you change it because of greed, and now hey, no one's buying it. Now you're getting shitty reviews, and you're not making any money off these battle passes. I think they have to change it back.
At the same time, I'm looking at it as like 30,000 reviews isn't a lot in comparison, right? When it came down to Helldivers, that was 200,000 plus reviews in less than 24 hours. You know,
still generating enough that, and we don't know the actual like numbers though of how many people are not buying it.
True,
but I don't know. I think they will revert it back because it's such a simple change, and it was so meaningless in the first place.
For it's really bad too.
Yeah. So
I'm reading on their official page. Cost is another aspect that we've been reevaluating to up the value going forward. Each premium track of the battle pass will cost $10 USD and will come with the rewards expanded on above. The decision to move from AC, which is the in-game currency, to real world currency is not one that we made lightly, but it does allow us to decrease the price of Premium Plus for our community. The new Premium Plus Battle Pass will come in at $20 USD and offers additional value, which is roughly 30% less than what you were spending in the AC.
Yeah, that's a piss poor.
So why not just lower the AC amount? If you wanted to give people a discount on that, just lower the AC amount.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Again, I think this is most likely due to cost localization issues because people could buy AC with real money. So this just makes it so that USD is the go-to for that. But again, you're spitting in the face of your community to make a buck.
Yeah. Oh, and we know that, we know that EA is completely fine with that. So that's my biggest concern with it is like this kind of situation. I was surprised that it actually worked with the whole Helldivers 2 situation, right? Like I never saw Sony going back against that, right? Like that was a shocker to me. If EA goes back on this, I'm going to be double shocked in the year 2024. Like that's like, I am going to be like, what the fuck is going on?
I want it to happen. I know we all do, but I really want this to be the change. And
I think it would be a good thing.
We finally speak out. Yeah. It'd be a great thing for consumers.
Yeah. So. Anyways, let's move on to yet another EA entity. Sims 5. I know that your sister really likes Sims, right, Scruffy, if I remember correctly?
Yeah.
So I
used to also enjoy
Sims. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I used to play Sims all the time as well back when I was a kid. Apparently Sims 5 has been canceled.
Oh no.
Completely.
Oh, that's not the news I wanted.
as per
how am I gonna tell her, man?
As per a post on LinkedIn from one of the developers, this is where it's at. This is their credits.
Just straight up.
The Sims 5, Unreal Engine 5, PS5 canceled. So PS5 canceled. So PS5. I don't know if that PC. I don't know if that means that the PS5 entity got canceled because they didn't want to go to PS5, or if that
everything
means
everything else is stating for PC, for PS5, PS4, or I think that's just the PS5 port.
Maybe, I don't know.
That's my ideas with the way that this is listed. That's in my eyes what I'm getting. Can you scroll down back to that list real fast too?
Yeah,
I have a delay, so hold on.
There you go.
Is that Firefall I saw?
Firefall, yes, Firefall shooter MMO for
Firefall?
PC. Yes.
What are they talking about? That's so old.
This is just credits. This is anything that he's done. This specific person. I don't know if it's he, she, or between. Anything that they've done. Wait. This is just the last one that they worked on was Palia and Sims 5. That was the last two things that they've worked on.
I'm like, wait, what is this list even?
So,
okay.
So they worked on Hogwarts Legacy. That's crazy.
I see. Yeah.
So that is interesting.
I don't know, man. I'm a little.
Do you think this is like the case that they're just gonna bloat Sims 4 more with more DLC?
I don't know, man. Like I feel like they make more money off of doing that. Really, instead of
like this is gonna be like the GTA 5. Yeah. We're just not gonna do GTA 6.
I feel like it's one of those situations of like, why put more development time into a game that really doesn't like you're not gonna push the envelope for Sims. you're not gonna that and split your player base. You're not gonna push the envelope for Sims all that much. At least EA is not going to. Let's be real.
Well, if it is going to Unreal 5, that's a push.
That is a push. That is a push.
Yeah, but you could do a full. I mean, I guess not, because most games that are going to Unreal 5 are doing sequels like Smite and whatnot.
Yeah, but you brought up a good point of like splitting your player base. You got to think about it right now, right? Like I don't know if you guys have ever gone to The Sims 4 and looked at like their prices to get all of their expansions.
They're a lot.
It's like multiple hundreds of dollars.
Yeah,
like
it's
5
like Flight Simulator.
Like it's a lot, dude. And if you don't get them on sale, like you're paying full $40, $50 price tags for Sims expansions that literally give you
that is a good argument because if they go to a new game, they have all of that backdraft of like DLCs for their previous game that just kind of go out the door. But I don't know.
At the same time, I'm looking at it as like
people are going to be expecting that stuff to be stock in the new game.
Possibly,
but
at the same time, I do know that there are a few projects. I know one of them got canceled recently, so that's out the window. But there is one project that I remember. I can't remember the name of it, but it was on Unreal Engine 5. It was coming out from another company, and it was supposed to be one of those like the Sims killers. It's supposed to be like full life sim,
the Sims killer.
Yeah, full life sim, full everything. Like you can take complete control of your character, everything like that. So. I don't know, man. I'm looking at it as like I'm pretty sure this is canceled completely. This seems to be like this person was just working on the PS5 version personally.
Could be.
I could be wrong.
They could just.
I hope that I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, it's tough to say though. They have a lot of PC portfolio on there as well. It doesn't seem like they're solely a console dev.
Yeah, but they do have some console devs in there, like Unreal Engine 4 for the Hogwarts Legacy.
They also obviously they have a vast portfolio. They work on a lot, but
I don't know.
Yeah, that's just my belief. I don't think it's solely canned yet.
It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see if they are actually working on a Sims 5. What exactly that is going to entail. I
wonder why they came out with they released their credits and they stated specifically canceled. Wait, other games on there also have been shut down and canceled. Why not list those as such?
I don't know. I mean, that necessarily would
maybe
be,
since it was in development.
It was in development. Yeah, so they wouldn't have any like.
They don't have full credit.
Yeah, well, not credit, but they don't have any like proof of work. They can just be like, hey, I did work on that, but it was canceled. So
yeah,
I would be interested to see if that is actually canceled though, because a Sims 5 I think would be pretty dope. That's just my opinion. But
agreed.
Yeah. So we're kind of moving into the tail end of the episode. We've only got a few things to talk about left. We're moving into the quick hits. These are going to kind of be certain aspects of the show that's not necessarily I wouldn't say worthy enough for mention or long form content or long form discussion, right? But it's just stuff that not necessarily made it to the cut for full conversations. Still interesting though. This is one that this is one that I actually do want to have kind of a conversation with you guys, because I'm a little weirded out about this. You guys heard that Sega was suing an individual for slandering an employee, and they won. Like wait, is this Sega
won the mega corporation?
Yeah, like Sega, the mega corporation Sega. So apparently
sued an individual.
Yes. So apparently I don't know exactly when it was. I don't think that they actually give too many details, because obviously they're still in litigation and legal battle for it. This also, full disclosure, as far as I can tell, this is in Japan. This is Japanese. They're going after somebody in Japan.
Actually, kind of wondering
that does kind of dictate like the severity of things, right? Because like Japan takes slander and like harassment extremely seriously.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But apparently Sega is taking an issue with a game development harassment seriously, following Bungie's footsteps by suing a social media user for excessive slanderous and insulting comments against an employee in a world where the lines are becoming increasingly blurred between online toxicity and offline harassment. Sega has also warned others that it will protect its employees at all costs.
What level of employee was this?
I
Just
don't
out of
know. They
curiosity.
don't give that
Like,
many
are they
details.
gonna are they gonna do the same thing with like entry level like game testers, or are
Yeah,
they
I
doing this
have.
because he was insulting like a higher up, a dev or a
Unfortunately,
CEO?
I don't have any more information than what we have right
Hmm.
here. Basically, they said that in a press release, Sega declined to delve into details of the incident and likely due to legal settlement, which is what I said earlier. But revealed that it had given the individual in question a chance to rectify their behavior. However, their slanderous acts
Okay.
did not stop, prompting the company to
Wow.
identify the culprit via court order. The defendant will
I think
now
that's fair
pay
then.
damages to employees and remove the objectable material. It's unclear
Interesting.
where this incident took place and where the social media user is from, but given that the press release we've seen is in Japanese, we're speculating that the case was filed in Japan against a
He
social
must have been
media user
saying
there.
some wild shit to get
I
Right.
don't
Sega to.
I don't think he would. That's what I'm trying to say is like Japan when it comes to that kind of stuff, you can get
They are.
sued and taken into court for saying that like a place that you went to eat was bad. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
if you leave a bad Yelp review, you can get sued for that. Like you can get taken
The
to
fact
court for
that they
that.
warned them though, and they
Yeah.
continued.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
That's
they hit the
My
fuck around find out button, and
so
they ended up finding out.
so
yeah. Right.
my only problem with this, and granted, again, if this is in Japan, I can understand it. This would never happen in America, right? Like this would never
No.
happen in any other country, really. I mean, it could. They could obviously take you to small courts claim or small claims court and everything like that. But like, what is too much? Like, if I go and I say that like this specific developer was a terrible developer, and the things that they developed did not do well in the game, is that slander? Is that
No, I
No,
think
harassment?
that's
no,
just
that's an
opinion.
opinion.
Like,
That's just. I think. I mean, I don't even think like slander. I think when you take somebody to court for something like this, an individual, I think it's more due to like threats and stuff like that
yeah,
is serious.
but again, in
But
Japan,
again, we don't
yeah,
know what was said here. So yeah,
exactly.
and yeah,
That's the
in
biggest problem.
Japan,
I'm looking to. I would like to hear what exactly this harassment was. If it was
right?
like, because I do know that they do mention like I'm trying to think of the word for it. Like threats
Harassment
and
or
harassment, and then like threats and everything like that. So I'm curious if it was like if it was more than just like, hey, your game sucks, and it was more of like,
yeah.
down the line of like death threats or personal threats or anything like that. Which I can see. Today's day and age, man, it's ridiculous what some of these people that they like go on social
Well,
media, go on X, go on Twitter, say about some
again,
of these
we
developers
don't
is
know what
crazy.
what Japan still assuming this is Japan
Yes,
takes as harassment,
exactly.
and what their line is, but it was stated that that last line of that or first line of that last paragraph that Sega has made it clear that it now has a customer harassment policy.
Yes,
So that's a new policy that was put into place. So they did use the word harassment. So assuming this was harassment of some form,
but
we just
again,
don't know
that's
the
the
extent.
that's the question
So
that I have for
we
you
can't
guys
make
is
any
like,
assumptions yet until
exactly.
we see really what was said.
That's the question that I have for you guys is like, where do you draw the line at opinion and harassment? Like, again, I take
When it
the
gets
example
personal,
of like this
being in
specific
this case,
developer
being a
developed
dev,
this game and it was terrible. Is that harassment? Is that enough to get
no.
a fucking to get
I
Sega
think
on your
when
ass? That's crazy to
I
me,
think
dude.
when it gets like personal on a personal level, like going beyond anything to do with the game or the product in question. And I don't even know what the line at personal being is, but
Yeah,
when it just gets something like, I'm not saying like, hey, your game was shit, you developed it shit, and when you go to like, you're a terrible human, you should go, I mean, die, but that's a threat. But still, you know what I mean? It's just like when it gets more than just the product, I guess.
yeah.
In this case,
Yeah,
Do you have
thoughts.
any
I don't know.
opinions on it, Bill? Yeah,
I I am a big proponent of free speech. It all
yeah.
depends on the context of what he's saying. If he's being
Yeah.
like vulgarly like offensive or like
Violent.
death
If he's being
threats,
violent,
yeah,
that's the biggest thing with me is like, is this a
Right.
violent threat? Is this
That's
backed up by violence? Like, was he actually threatening to bring physical violence to
yeah.
this person?
Or
Then yes,
right.
one
if
hundred
it's
percent.
yeah, or it can go as far as like saying that he like the person in question they could be bringing up like dark things that they could be accusing him of that have no factual basis,
Slander.
just to make people like that. I could see going lawsuit wise, because if that person is being labeled that, then it could look poorly on the company. That's where I could see the company stepping in. But if it's not one of those two things, this is out of line, in my opinion.
Especially in today's age where you have so much like accusations against people and, guilty until proven innocent now, that's the way things have been going. And it's really, it affects people, it really does.
Yeah, so, that was
something like that.
If it's not one of those two things, then Sega
that was just
rocks. I think this is a bad play.
For sure. Yeah, that was my biggest question is like, I just, if it isn't the extreme side of things, like where do we draw the line at like harassment versus just somebody's opinion that you don't like? Essentially, that's my biggest thing. If this was indeed like violence or slander or anything like that, then yes, Sega 100% needs to back their employees.
Plus with the warning, yeah,
I'm glad that they are backing their employees, but at the same time, I'm like, ooh, that's a slippery slope, man. Let's back up a little bit.
But I'm also right as of right now, I'm still siding with Sega a bit just because they did warn.
No, I agree. Yeah, I
think that's
this specific instance. I agree with 100%. As long as it's something that was. And again, I need to see what the actual like threats or harassment was before I make like a final judgment. But as of right now, if they gave him a warning and he continued to do it, fuck that guy. Like fuck.
Yeah.
Or person. We don't know. I don't even know who.
Person, whatever it was. Either way, they fucked around and found out, like Bill said, and now now they got the full weight of Sega behind them.
Boot.
So,
all right.
So. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 early access multiplayer beta is set for August 30th to September 4th, and open beta is starting on September 6th to the 9th. Is anybody excited for this?
I'm not excited. I'll play it just so I know what it's about.
I'm not excited, but I'm addicted, is what Scruffy's saying.
I'm not even addicted because I'm not going to buy this game.
Y'all got any more of that Call of Duty?
I'm more excited for this than I was the previous, like Modern Warfare 2 and 3, but I'll just play it free and then play it on Game Pass if I really do want to try it.
I'm curious if you're gonna have to purchase the game to get access to these, like the closed beta or whatnot, or if it's gonna be anybody with Game Pass.
Open beta, no. Open beta, you don't.
Early access, 100%, but open
beta. They always do a free open beta for everyone.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's cool.
Yep. So
we'll see how it goes. There's some interesting stuff, but
I don't know, man.
That's
what I was about to say. To me,
nostalgia based. Again, with the past like 3 CODs, that's what they've been doing. And this is just another.
To me, it's just Call of Duty. It's literally the same Call of Duty they were at least last year. It's literally the same.
The only difference is this is a Treyarch product opposed to Sledgehammer, and Sledgehammer has recently dropped the ball. No, I mean Treyarch. I can't remember when their last Call of Duty was, but it's been a while.
It's been a long
time. They've just had a better track record recently. Or not recently, but opposed to Sledgehammer's track record recently is what I'm saying. Yeah. So it could be a better change for Call of Duty. Finally, I don't know.
Anyways,
hard to say.
You guys are looking forward to it. Those are your open beta dates and your early access dates. So go and check it out. Please don't pay for it though.
No.
Report says that U.S. video game sales declined by 6% in May, which is not that much of a surprise to me. I don't know if it was a surprise to anybody else. May was a really slow fucking month for this year, like really slow. I felt at least.
Yeah.
Not a huge surprise. A 6% drop is pretty substantial, though.
It is. That's 3.97 million. A difference of nearly 300 million compared to the same month last year. So that's rough. I can only really blame like Xbox and PlayStation for they just haven't really been releasing anything. Both of them.
Yeah, but you can't really blame, like, yes, there is going to be a drop because there's no real new titles coming out, but you can't blame a game drought on that level of a drop. I don't think.
You think it's more of a how do you say that?
I don't think
of them all.
I don't think that it's. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but it's that's what I was about to say. Is like it's not helping it. Like it's.
Yeah,
the state of games that have been released too has been pretty piss poor.
Yeah,
So
plus there's also like economic issues. Like it's harder to justify spending money on games these days.
Yeah.
Not just in like the US, but in several other countries, especially
right.
when the price of gaming is going up. So
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm not sure I agree with this statement here where they're saying that like due to the lack of titles. I do agree with due to the lack of titles hitting the market, but this one right here where he says hardware took a 40% hit as consumers save their bucks for Nintendo's next console launch. We don't even know when Nintendo's next console launch is going to be. How can?
That's like saying that they're saving their bucks for the PS5
yeah,
Pro.
Like what the fuck do you mean?
Was an insider at Nintendo for sure.
I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? We don't even know. There has been no fucking announcement for Nintendo's next console.
That's hilarious.
You're fucking crazy, man. Get out of here.
Somebody's stepdad's brother works for Nintendo and is trying to inject it. Hype going.
So this is an interesting one. This is one that you'll be interested in seeing, Scruffy. PSA New World is planning on expiring character names after 6 months of inactivity.
Womp, womp.
So I don't know how that's gonna
sign.
Yeah, so that's supposed to be. I don't know how you want to handle that. That seems really bad to me. Like
that's not a good sign. When you see that in games, it's because they have a low player base and there's a lot of inactivity.
Yeah.
So
now, is this killing the character off? Like, is this deleting the character?
So I'm not entirely. Not. So it says right here in this case,
names will just give placeholder names, or give you the chance to rename them.
It says in this case, if a player creates a new character, they may choose an expired name. If this happens, the character's name that has been taken will have to choose a new name, and the play button will be replaced with a rename one. In order to maintain your name, you must log into the world with the character.
I'm logging in, bro.
This change is meant to provide more naming options for characters. That's bullshit. Logging into New World in preparation for a console release. And I'm like, I don't think that's the reason, but okay, whatever you say, Amazon.
Console release.
Yeah, they're releasing. They're releasing it on console in like the next couple months, I think, with the next day.
Which, to be honest, it should have been a console MMO. Yeah. It plays like a console MMO. It really should have been in the first place.
For sure. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh no, I was just making a joke earlier saying I'm logging in. I'm taking Sinan's name.
Do it, bro. Do it. Take the Warden. Go and see if you can get a hold of Warden. The Warden, because apparently we called him that.
It was a self-touted title.
So 100%. Coming off the tail end of that May, that previous portion that we talked about, where May was a terrible month for this year. Apparently, 82% of Americans players made an in-game purchase last year, survey suggests. So that means 82% of all Americans across all video games made at least some form of purchase.
Does that count DLCs?
I do not know if that counts DLC. I would
imagine that counts DLCs.
If they're saying any in-game
so this says according to the
kind of.
It says, according to the report, 62% of adults over the age of 18 played video game last year, with millennials comprising 49%, followed by Gen Z at 13%. Of the people that were surveyed, 77% played on more than one platform, and over a third regularly used a combination of console, PC, and mobile. It claimed that the video game enthusiasts in the U.S. spent 45 billion hours on gaming sites and apps last year. 86% of Gen Z and 80% of millennials surveyed said that watched esports. Our 2024 State of Gaming report highlighted the cultural significance of gaming. What the fuck are these people talking about? That has nothing to do with fucking video games.
I'm kind of lost, to be honest.
What the fuck is it? Yeah, so whatever. I just found that kind of interesting. So 60% of all adults over the age of 18 have played a video game and purchased something inside of those video games.
Whoa.
Okay. I don't know if that's DLC. Cool. I did not read that very well, apparently, or else I wouldn't have put that in there. That made no sense.
If it's DLC, it makes sense. If that's like in-game, like cosmetic purchases or like currencies or gotchas or stuff like that, that's a little bit wild.
Right. Everybody who didn't purchase anything in-game, what all they're doing is just saving for the next generation.
The next generation of console Nintendo consoles. Oh goodness. Speaking of games that a lot of people have purchased shit inside of, including myself, it looks like PlayStation itself leaked the next Helldivers 2 Warbond. So
wow.
Helldivers 2 next Warbond was leaked, and I don't know why they're saying may have been leaked. It was leaked. It was on their fucking store. It's right here. their next war bond is going to be the Viper Commandos, and it's bringing in flame weapons, a new armor type, some capes, some emotes, and player cards and patterns. Apparently,
capes. Did they ever add that?
That's what I was about to say. We still haven't fucking got our Steam reviews cape. So I'm still.
And they said they were going to.
Listen, Arrowhead. Look me in the eye, Arrowhead. Look me in the eye. I want my fucking cape.
Yeah.
Has the player base recovered on this?
No, it hasn't. It's still extremely rough. Yeah,
yeah.
Fucking Sony did a number to him, man. Unfortunately, and I don't think
really
that there's
sucks
any
too.
way that they can recover from it. Really,
and they still never did gain access to those countries that they dropped.
Not that I know of.
Right?
It's still banned in countries. Yeah, for like 442
and
countries.
I know how much we've said how much it sucks because like it was such a popping game.
It was great
and everything. But not only that, but the game is really community oriented. Just with the what do they call them? The missions they call the worldwide missions that people do. The
little protocols or whatever they are.
Is that it?
I don't think that's what it is. I made that up.
I can't remember the name of it either.
I would have went with it, man.
Global orders. I think it's what global orders.
Global orders. I think
orders
or
something.
That
either way,
that sounds more right.
How cool of a feature was that, and how like with the community all coming together to do all of those, and now like that community is just like in shambles.
And the worst,
it really takes away from that.
So the worst part about it was again it went from those global orders or whatever they're called were balanced for 500,000+ players, right? So like when it came down to that whole entire shift, they were still balancing it for 500,000+ players. We were not doing those orders. We could not finish those fucking orders to save our lives.
And I'm sure they're probably, I'm assuming they're balancing it now.
I'm sure they are now. Base. Yeah, I haven't personally.
But it's just sad because like you loved to see those super inflated numbers being like this many hundreds of thousand people are doing this too. You know, we're all working together. Now it's like a couple thousand people are doing this, and I don't know if it's that low, but I'm just saying it's not as the hype is not as there, you know.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to see. And then our final topic for evening. We're a little early. Oh no, we're pretty much on time. Actually, we're good.
We're on time, bro. We're good.
China is dispatching crack teams of AI interrogators to make sure its corporation chatbots are upholding core socialist values. Good job, China.
Oh, okay. I don't read that back.
If you don't know what that means, essentially they're sending out specialized teams to these they bring up like
AI teams.
TikTok's AI algorithms and everything like that. They bring up ByteDance, they bring up Alibaba, a lot of those AI algorithms and everything like that. They're apparently dispatching specialized teams to make sure that those AIs fall in line with socialist values.
They're view-botting.
I found that funny. I found that crazy. I found that funny and crazy. That is an insane title right there.
It is. I had to read it back to make sure I was actually like getting what was being said right.
Oh goodness gracious. Oh man. But yeah, anyways, that's it. That's all we got. That's the end of the podcast, everybody.
Let's keep going.
I'm tired. My legs hurt.
Keep going,
my back hurts. My butt hurts. I want to get up and walk around.
Oh man, it's been a good one.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Thank you guys again for showing up tonight. We love you guys so very, very much. We're sorry about the mix-ups in recent schedules and everything like that. But as I said, just in case you weren't here for the start of the podcast or you haven't been caught up, we will be shifting back to our old schedule, our old schedule. If you guys were around when we first started, we will be going back to every other week on our podcast. So instead of next week there being a podcast, it will be the following week after that. So just
mark your calendars.
Yeah, keep up to date with that. We will let you guys know on Twitter and everything like that when we're going to be having an actual podcast, and we will try to keep you guys involved and everything like that and kept up to date. Make sure you guys are following us on Twitter. Make sure you guys are following us on YouTube, Twitch. Go over to our anchor.fm/prepatch podcast. P-patch. I said P-patch podcast.
Nah,
I can't. It's getting so late that I can't. Yeah, it's getting so late that I can't speak. Go over to anchor.fm/prepatch podcast and check out all of those episodes. I still need to get us updated to 129 or 128. I'm sorry, guys. I will get on it. I promise. This next week, because we don't have a podcast, they're getting updated. They're getting uploaded. So we will keep you guys updated on that. Up until the point that Sin comes back. He is on hiatus right now. We don't know when he will be coming back. So wish him the best of love and the quickest to come back and everything like that. When he does come back, we will go back to every week. We will be sticking, at least for the time as well, to 9:30 Eastern Standard Time for start times. Again, up until the point that Sin comes back, at which point it might go back to 10:30, it might go back to 9, or it might stay with 9:30. We're not entirely sure. We will again keep you guys informed and everything like that. So
hell yeah.
With that being said, that's 129 in the bag. That's it. That's all I got for you guys.
Baby.
Hopefully you guys had a great night.
This is a fun one.
Yeah. Did you guys what do you guys got going on this week? In the next 2 weeks, actually, technically, because we're not going to be here next week. So you guys got anything fun planned?
Yeah, I got that 90s party.
I was about to say you got a 90s party coming up, don't you?
Yeah. I'm gonna get some pictures of my outfit. It looks pretty sick.
Do it. We'll post it up. We'll post it up on the Twitter on the Twitter, and we'll post it up on the Discord and everything like that. So.
Yeah, looking real hip.
Yep. Oh, one quick thing. We do have a small little segment that we will be doing with a partner of ours. We have been working very closely with a program called Minvo. And we will be, myself and Bill will be live on their Minvo podcast on Tuesday next week at 12 p.m. Eastern. So if you guys want to come and support us over there, we will let you guys know what's going down on Twitter, where it's going down, when it's going down, everything like that. Should be a fun time.
In our Discord too.
For sure. Very excited. We've been looking forward to kind of telling you guys about it. We've been doing some work in the background with them as a partnership. So good times. They've kind of been the reason why we've been able to put out as much short form content and everything like that over the recent 2 years or so. So we're really happy to work with them. So that being said, guys, that's it. One again, like I said, 129 in the bag. Bill, you got any last minute things to say? You playing more Elden Ring?
I'm just I'm throwing my face into the wall until something breaks. I'm not sure what's gonna be this time.
It's gonna be Elden Ring.
I might have met my match on this one, so we'll see how it goes.
And with that being said, I will probably be playing a little bit more First Descendant, I should say, not Last Descendant.
I thought you were gonna say Last of Us.
The First Descendant. I definitely want to get into No Man's Sky as well. So if any of you guys want to join me for that, do let me know. We will go and check out that update together. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be it. Let me start playing that, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.